Hello and welcome, welcome back. I am Goddess Dawn, and I'm here today, January 17th, 2019, and I'm connecting with Miss Aaliyah. I've had a lot of requests for reading Aaliyah. I hadn't planned on reading with Aaliyah, at least not yet, but she came through and she has some things to let us know. But before we do that, I just want to acknowledge all my people out there who have requested readings. If you're still waiting, just give me, a little bit of time. I've gotten a lot of requests over the past week. And, I like to take my time and give everyone a proper reading. So, just be patient. I appreciate the patience. I've only had my channel for about a week now, and I've gotten a really positive response so far. For the most part, the trolls are trickling in. And when they do, I don't know, I find the need to actually answer them, which I know is ridiculous, but I don't know. I just feel like I'm not going to just, allow somebody to just try to slander me without me at least acknowledging that, no, that is not the case or whatever. But, it really made me realize, though, dealing with these individuals that this thing is much bigger than R. Kelly. This thing is much bigger than Robert Kelly. This is spiritual warfare at play. The spotlight is actually on our society. Not necessarily, I mean, it's on Robert Kelly, but at the same time, the bigger picture of that is the spotlight is on us as a society. They are watching. They want to see how we fight. What are we fighting about? Why? Because they're picking teams. This is light versus dark, good versus evil. This is happening in a spiritual sense, which then trickles down and affects the material world. But I'm saying all that to say, these people who are defending this monster and the what about this person and the what about that person deflections and those bitches are gold diggers and they knew what they were doing, victim blaming, all of that is evil. It's not right. You have young black girls, because that's all I would say, pretty much deals with. We have seen others sprinkled in, but for the most part, it's the sisters. And he knows that nobody cares. And this is the truth. And all you people, especially you black men and black women out there blaming these girls, I don't care if they're now 20, whatever, or whatever the case. When you're dealing with psychological manipulation, physical, mental, spiritual abuse, all of these things, these are damaging things, not only to the life of the person on earth, but to the soul. These things you carry with you throughout lifetimes, this pain, until you actually acknowledge and understand what you're dealing with and are able to cut free of this stuff. It affects you lifetime after lifetime. So watch, what you say. I would say tread lightly. You think you just commenting on somebody's YouTube channel thinking you being funny. Somebody told me literally to get a job. Like, you know nothing about me. But because of that, I can laugh at that because I know they don't know. I know how dynamic I am and all the things that I have going on and all the things that I am going to do to help people. Something like that doesn't bother me, but what it does, though, it shows them who you are. So you might want to be careful about the things that you're saying, even though it's on the internet. It's still out there. It's energy that you're putting out there. So, just a fair warning. You know, I've had some requests also for Dominique Gardner. She is the victim who is now back home with her mom. And, you know, I also want to know about her and what's going on and what she has to say. But, you know, she's alive and she's free. And I really don't feel comfortable. It's kind of like prying into someone's life. And, you know, in the case of Azriel and Joycelyn and Aaliyah, you know, they're not, I mean, Azriel and Joycelyn, are, although alive, they're not. They need help. So I feel okay by doing this for them. But for someone who's just alive and well and at home and living, I'm not really trying to do all that. At least not put it on camera for the world to see. Because, you know, that's just me. I have a little bit of integrity. I hope you hope you can understand that. So there's not an agenda to get R. Kelly arrested and jailed. He is at the root of why this is happening now. It is not anyone else's fault but his. All things in the dark eventually come to light, and karma is always there to collect when that day comes. And his day is coming. Mark my words. And you know, I had a friend of mine had asked me why I allow comments, because I was just talking to her about some of these trolls. And I told her that, you know, what I want to do is I really want to just build a community of warriors with me here in these YouTube streets. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really do feel like this platform can actually be used for good, believe it or not. So hopefully you're one of those special souls, and if so, please subscribe, like, and comment, and that way we can always be connected in my Siri voice. But okay, let's get with it. Miss Aaliyah's been waiting patiently and graciously, and I am totally I can totally see her at 40 years old. Her birthday was yesterday, the 16th of January. She would have been 40. Happy belated, baby girl. And I had done a meditation earlier, and I pulled some cards. And when I came back to do, I was going to do a whole new spread, but Spirit said to go back to the cards that I had pulled during my meditation. I had written them down because I am prepared. And so we're going to share that, and then we'll see what else she has to say, if anything. I don't think Aaliyah liked that bright light. So the first thing that came up during the meditation was much too young, and that phrase kept repeating, much too young, much too young. So I got from that she was just stating that she felt she was much too young. Probably, I was initially thinking much too young to be in the business when she started, but probably much too young to die. She was only 22 years old. And she had done so much within such a short time frame. Well, I guess a decade or a little over a decade isn't a short time frame of being in the business. But for her to have passed away, she did have a lot of accomplishments under her belt, and we need to acknowledge that. And this situation happening with R. Kelly should not, it has nothing to do with Aaliyah. I mean, the only reason she comes up, obviously, is because this was our first acknowledgement that he is disgusting. I mean, he married a child and had sex with her. You're not going to get married and not have sex. I don't care what the mom says. But anyway, so after I kept hearing much too young, she urged me to take my time. She wanted me to take my time. And then she kind of hung back because I was trying to connect, and I had to basically be patient. What I got was that she wanted to see if I was going to continue on with the meditation and the writing the messages without her, because others have spoken on her behalf falsely, and they may have been well intending, but they weren't authentic, and she's not with that. So she wanted to make sure that the reading was going to be authentic, that I wasn't going to sit here and just write stuff on a paper that she hasn't communicated. And so that took quite a minute. And then so I pulled the cards, and then we're going to talk about what came through. The first card that came through is 10 of Cups, and that represents family life. That represents great happiness with family. Let me just actually get the meaning here. 10 of Cups. Happy family life, emotional satisfaction, and endurance in love relationships, great happiness. So this is the beginning, before the music. Very happy at home, very happy in her family life, emotional satisfaction, and strong love relationships that are enduring, lasting, strong. Okay. The next card was 10 of Staves. Ten of Staves. The accumulation of the creative venture begun with the one of Staves. Success becomes overwhelming with its responsibility. However, the 10 of Staves was reversed. I forgot. These two cards were reversed. So the reverse meaning of the 10 of Staves is overwhelmed and burdened by responsibilities. So here we have happy family life, emotional satisfaction, and then she gets into work mode, music business, and it's overwhelming and it's burdening her. The responsibilities were burdening her. Okay, so then we move on to the Queen of Swords, and this actually was also reversed, so I'm going to turn that around. All right, Queen of Swords. Reversed meaning may symbolize loss or wounds. For all her good intentions, her sharp words can cut. So this card coming through says that, you know, she's in the business, she's burdened by work, but then here there was a loss or wounds. She suffered wounds here. And for all her good intentions, so despite her good-natured self, she had to get with somebody and let them know that this is not what you're gonna do to me, because this is not gonna happen. Something happened that upset. She was very upset, and cut somebody down with her words, and she had to really just let them know, and that's what she did. Okay, so what do we have next here? We have the 8 of Cups. And we're going to read that one. Might as well just take them one by one. Meaning for the 8 of Cups is time to move on, the need for more substance in life, whether that be more satisfying relationships or a more authentic way of life, leave takings. So it was time for her to move on. She wanted more substance and more satisfying relationships, a more authentic way of life. Okay, so then we have beginnings. Next card that was revealed, innocence, which protects, new beginnings, optimism, innocent trust. So what this says to me is that she left that situation, and then she's you know, new beginnings, optimism, innocent trust. She's still able to trust innocently. Her innocence actually protected her, it seems, that she still can actually carry it and embody it, even though it was probably taken from her. it didn't break her down. The situation didn't break her down, and it didn't rob her of being able to trust again with an innocence and optimism that a young girl would. Okay, so the next card is the Temptation card. All right, and the Temptation card is one that has come up in previous readings, and I'm going to just go ahead and read the meaning. Tempted by forces one cannot control, something deep within the psyche, the shadow personified as temptation or addiction, sensual desires, gluttony, or envy. So this, to me, this is R. Kelly. She's letting us know. So that's who we're talking about. He's the focus. Okay, so the next card is the Prince of Cups. Okay, so an invitation or offer, young children who with their gentleness allow one to experience innocence anew. So this is basically, so we already confirmed that we're talking about R. Kelly. He's the focus, and now we're talking about the fact that there has been an invitation or offer to young children who allow one to experience innocence through them. So that's what this is, and we all know what that is letting us know and confirming, is that he's offering things to these children, and they are buying it and allowing him to experience innocence through them. So that's what that is. The next card is the Two of Staves. Two of Staves. Beginnings of a business venture, possible partnership, new ideas that transform lives, bring inspiration, and energize people. So he's luring them in with business opportunities and offerings, partnerships, giving, ideas that transform lives, and inspiring and energizing people through the music, most likely. So that's what we have here. All right, the next card is the Ace of Pentacles, and the meaning is the purest evocation of prosperity, fertility, and generosity, the beginning of a new phase of life that promises all of these things. So what I'm getting from this is purification of prosperity, fertility, and generosity. To me is birth, a child, beginning of a new phase of life that promises all these things. So I don't know, what I get from this is that someone, there's a birth involved here that's going on. That's what I'm getting from that. Yeah. Okay, so the next card is the Five of Pentacles. Poverty that forces one to look within for greater resources. This poverty may be personified as a lack of wealth, or in a sense of emotional sterility. And definitely getting that poverty forcing one to look for within for greater resources. So it looks, sounds to me like there's money problems, and he's having to find resources elsewhere, and he's looking within for answers. There's nothing there. The poverty may be personified as a lack of wealth or a sense of emotional sterility. And I think with him, it's both. I mean, it's his money's, mind you, he's been paying out settlements for years. And his money's been slowing down because of the docuseries, I think, just put a real big boom on it. But prior to that, these things have been happening over the past couple of years. The Me Too movement, the Mute R. Kelly, hashtag Mute R. Kelly, they've been shutting down shows. So the money isn't flowing in like it once was. He takes care of a lot of people. I'm pretty sure, he's trying to figure out what he can do here. So that's what this card represents. Emotional sterility is also a factor because I mean, it seems obvious to me that he is emotionally sterile. How do you, like one of the parents had said, how do you keep young girls from their parents, from their moms? Like, you have no empathy. How do you sleep at night? Like, he's emotionally sterile. So, and he himself has probably been through a lot, enough to where he had to develop that sterility to survive. But I mean, it doesn't mean you inflict your pain onto other people. So that's not an excuse. I'm tired of hearing about that. Okay, so the next card is the Nine of Swords. Okay, Nine of Swords. Insomnia, worries that keep one awake, an issue that needs to be looked at more closely. Only then will it be transformed. A nagging anxiety. So there it is. He's not sleeping. He's worried. He needs to look at the issue more closely. He really needs to just face everything. And only then will there be some type of change. But until then, it's just a nagging anxiety. Okay. The next card is the Oppression card. Feeling overwhelmed, oppressed by circumstances or emotions. The light has left his life, and he's waiting to be released from the darkness. So that's what this card is. More of the overwhelming, oppressive feeling because of, and that's how you feel when you don't have money, right? You feel oppressed, you feel overwhelmed, everything's coming in and you can't like handle it. So that's what that is. The next card is the Power card. So we're talking about R. Kelly. Aaliyah has come through and she's telling it from her perspective of what is happening with this situation. So the Power card. The ability to use power wisely, awareness of one's power, the ability to lead and inspire others, knowledge of how to work the system. And we know that R. Kelly has the ability and has been using his ability to use power wisely, keeping out of trouble for 20-something years or however long it's been. Awareness of one's power, the ability to lead and inspire others. Obviously, the Pied Piper, lead and inspire others. Knowledge of how to work the system. And in a previous reading, I did state he was in crisis meetings and things of that nature, getting consult from other celebrities. Also, I read that he had acquired Bill Cosby's attorney. So he's fighting. So that's what this card is representing. And he actually may delay things due to that. So I guess we'll see. Next is the Two of Cups, but it's reversed. Two of Cups reversed. Blinded by infatuation, disillusionment within a love relationship or close friendship, overindulging in sensuality. So I believe that this would represent the girls, infatuated. That's how they ended up in the position they're in. But now they're disillusioned with that love relationship and they're overindulging in sensuality. And we know these things. And Three of Cups reversed. I'm sorry, it's not reversed. It's the regular Three of Cups. My pendulum has made an appearance. Three of Cups. A celebration involving women. Peace between family generations. A reason to celebrate. So this is good news. And Aaliyah's letting us know that there's going to be a celebration with the women. Peace between family generations and a reason to celebrate. Okay. This was the last card, but another card kind of came out of nowhere. I don't have no idea where it came from, so I'm going to include it. But this was the last card initially. Three of Pentacles. Oh, actually, no. Three of Cups, this was the last card. The celebration of women. So I had two cards that now have come out of nowhere. So I'm going to just go ahead and include them. Constructive and pragmatic building, career, relationships, home, ability to transform talents into material goods or business success. So it looks like after the celebration, then good things could possibly come from freedom. And then we have the movement card, which also was mysteriously on the platform here. So I'm going to go ahead and read that. Movement into the next phase of life. Don't worry, transitions will go smoothly. Good timing. So this card is saying that there's going to be a smooth transition into the next phase of life, and it's good timing, and everything's going to work out. Now, we don't have specific names of who exactly we're talking about because my previous reading stated that everyone may not come out okay, but we're going to use this as the new message coming from Aaliyah, and let's just say it's been good news. This is the magazine that I had. I don't know if you guys remember Russell Simmons when he had tried to do the magazine thing, the One World magazine. I was very big on magazines. This is from the 90s, I think 1999. But yeah, this issue, she did an interview with she was doing Romeo Must Die, and there was a she got profiled in this magazine. I actually have a few of iconic magazines, the original magazines here. She says some interesting things in here. One thing I did want to read from her quote, when she was being asked about transitioning from music to she was doing runway modeling or modeling for brands, high end. Then, you know, how do you transition between those things? I think what you have to do is project who you honestly are. I think people want to get a sense of who this person is, the human behind the picture. And I think that's the challenge, whether you're a model or a performer. So projecting who you honestly are, being authentic, like that's always been important to her. And it was important for her tonight for this reading. And, you know, I just want to thank Aaliyah. And I'm honored to be doing this reading. So I'm just going to see if she has anything else to add or say before we end this reading. I do have another deck I was going to try on her. I've had it for a long time, but I rarely use it. It's called Past Lives. And technically this would be her past life, what we know of her, because that's when she was last alive. So I thought it would be interesting to see how that goes, but I might not do it in this reading because this reading took forever. It's like 3 a.m. and know it or not, I have another whole career that I go to work for every day. Let's see, so Princess of Cups came up, so let's see what the Princess of Cups has to say. I'm tired, y'all. Artistic inspiration and receptivity. A young woman who symbolizes the gifts of Venus, love, beauty, and emotional richness. Movement of in these areas of life. Grace. Okay, well, I think she basically just summed it up by stating who she feels she authentically is, and that's the Princess of Cups. And I'm going to read it one more time because it just really made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Artistic inspiration and receptivity. A young woman who symbolizes the gifts of Venus, love, beauty, and emotional richness, movement in these areas of life, grace. And I think this is how she wants to be remembered. So we're going to leave it at that. And as always, I want to thank you for coming back, or even if this is the first time, hanging to the end. Please subscribe, like, comment, and I'm going to reiterate something I said in the beginning, which is we got to stay in prayer. This is spiritual warfare. This is not the world against R. Kelly. This is R. Kelly against himself. But while that's happening, they are watching and picking teams and you know, we need to make sure we're on the right side. For me, I'm a light worker, and I work with light and positivity and good. And with that said, I'm looking for like-spirited, minded, hearted individuals to join me as a warrior in this journey here. You know, I always say you shouldn't fight a fight with a fight. You should fight it with love. And that's what I'm encouraging everyone to do, is to spread love. And start with yourself. Be kind to yourself. And then pass it on to others. And I guarantee you, you're going to see some very positive results from that. And that's how I'm going to end this today. So thank you for watching. I'm out. Peace.